Hello, this is Attorney Shaprali for another video of How to Guide, talking today about asylum, but more specifically about asylum from countries like Afghanistan, Syria, which is pretty much a given in Syria, but for Afghanistan more specifically I wanted to discuss today. As you know, an asylum is obtained if you fear persecution in your home country, or there has been past persecution, you belong to any social group, and you have filed it usually after 1 year, before 1 year when you enter United States. I'm not going to go into the specifics of asylum that much, as much as I'm going to go on the details what is relevant right now to specific countries, and we have a specific country conditions that are causing giving reasons actually for the government to allow people to file for what we call an asylum. One of the things that is happening a lot, especially from Afghanistan, what we are seeing is the fact that we are having the U.S. government pulling out of there, the military is going out, and many people have actually worked with the U.S. government. During the time when things were good and the U.S. military were there, a lot of Afghans really put their life on the line to help in many U.S. soldiers and NATO soldiers. And unfortunately, now that we are leaving Afghanistan, we are seeing a hike in attacks and threats on those people who are basically who has helped the U.S. government, or people who are receiving threats just because of the faction they belong to. So the truth is, depending on your situation, and if you are in United States, or you're coming to United States and you are going to request asylum, there are two kinds of asylum. Basically, there's one affirmative, where basically you file it without going to the court, and there's one defensive. Defensive is usually when you're in deportation, or you get caught at the border when you're coming. That's it. I'm going to talk a little bit about that in a few, but affirmative asylum is filed with the Department of Homeland Security, and defensive asylum is usually filed in court, Department of Justice, but still attached to the Department of Homeland Security somehow. But the truth is, no matter how you file it, the rules are pretty much the same, except the difference: if you're in court, it takes longer, unfortunately, and if you're in court, you are facing a prosecutor on the other side instead of an immigration officer. So knowing all those facts before you file an asylum, it's very, very important that you have a case for asylum. Just don't go and file an asylum because people tell you to do so, because unfortunately in the past many people have just filed those frivolous asylum, and it cost them dearly after a while. Even some lawyers have made fake asylum, which has cost a lot of people in the future when they are filing for even their green card or their citizenship. So be careful on that. For one, you have to have a fear of persecution. Two, they might have a credible fear interview if you're crossing the border and things like that, so you have to pass that. Two, you might have to have a past persecution. If you have past persecution, it's a lot easier to prove. And then beware of the Real ID Act, where you have to corroborate what you're saying. You cannot just say, for example, this is what happened to me. You have to prove it with corroboration. And under the Real ID Act also, a small mistake or a lie can cost you the entire case. For example, you might say, I belong to this tribe, and the truth, you don't belong to this tribe. You belong to some other tribe which is closer to that, and you have a very good case, by the way. And because of that one lie or one mistake, misrepresentation, the entire case can be denied. So beware of that. And also, when you're filing the case, make sure the timing is right. If you pass 1 year after you entered the United States, unless you are subject to certain kind of exceptions, for example, change of country conditions, maintaining status, change of your own conditions, you should file the asylum within 1 year you enter United States, unless you are subject to those exceptions like I mentioned earlier. So make sure you cover all those angles. And of course, you can also file for withholding and Convention Against Torture, CAT, but those are not great options, because withholding will not allow you really to get a green card down the road, and Convention Against Torture will require a higher threshold of proving the case, for example, torture itself. So make sure all this is assessed before you file. You don't want to just jump on an asylum because people tell you it's easy. It's not that easy. And a good lawyer, a reputable lawyer, is very important in those cases. Anybody can tell you, yes, we can file an asylum, and they can probably. But the truth is that if they're starting making up things on your case, it will really hurt you. You don't have to make up things if you have a good case. People oftentimes try to embellish the case too much, and you end up by committing grave mistakes. So my advice is to have a good lawyer help you on those cases, especially for Afghanistan. Our team here speaks Pashto, and also some speak Farsi. We speak Arabic, we speak French, we speak Urdu, Punjabi. So if you need help on your asylum, whether you're from Afghanistan or another country, please call us 510-742-5887. And anything I told you today, ladies and gentlemen, is for educational purpose only. You should not act or refrain to act solely on the information provided. You should contact an attorney if you have any questions. The number to call, 510-742-5887, and I put the link of the website below. Please, thank you. Please keep checking our YouTube videos, subscribe to them, and if you have questions, of course, call our office. Thank you.